Alright, guys. Seemed like at this exact moment Candy Cane needed some attention. Little fluffer butt. Meow. Meow. Anyhow. We went over I didn't really go over it. I just kind of popped up an article in the last live stream. But I'm pretty sure most people understood the connection there. But other people brought it up later. Melody and Zombie and Gadwin and I talked about it at length over time. But I wanted to bring up like an old sort of case study. And the reason why is because it's such a great example of what we're talking about. It's not just people who are like, they might be religious and they think that like homosexuality is wrong because of that. And obviously, I have an issue with that. It's one of the many issues I have with religion. It spreads negative bullshit and just hatred for no fucking reason. But aside the point here. So Jesse Lee Peterson, many people should know who he is. He's hilarious. He's hilarious without trying to be. Like he's serious, but he's funny because he's just absolutely retarded. And he's known for his extreme views on many different subjects. he's a black man that's actually racist against his own people. And yes, if you have this belief that you can't be racist, if you're the person or if you're the group, if you are a member of the group of people that you're attacking, then you're not racist. You are an imbecile. Like I don't know what to tell you at that point. So he's like a self-hating black man that constantly goes on about like how he loves white people and how they've done all the greatest things and all that. But simultaneously, he hyper fixates on what he calls radical homosexuality. One of the most obvious examples that I can think of is him in an interview with Jacqueline Glenn from back in the day. Just like count the number of times he brings up, quote, radical homosexuality. So this is like not just like dislike, not just I think it's wrong. This is like hyperfixation. This is obsession with the topic. And we know through rigorous scientific research that there's a link between this excessive homophobia and homosexuality. Meaning the people that are really like ultra hyper focused on it, that really freaking hate, or at least outwardly they seem to really hate homosexuality, they're more likely to be homosexual themselves. It's like self-hatred. It's this like shame, this deep shame that they have involving themselves because they believe all these lies that society has pushed about. So anyhow, I bring this up because he's a good example, and I'm going to read a relatively short article to illustrate what I mean here. I will link it if I can remember. If I don't and you want it, then as always, remind me and I'll post it in the comments. So this is from advocate.com. And originally, I believe it was the Beast or something published the first and most popular article. I would read it, but it requires a subscription, and I don't do that shit. So it's entitled, Did Anti-LGBTQ plus minister Jesse Lee Peterson have gay sex liaisons? Several men have come forward to accuse Jesse Lee Peterson of hypocrisy over his anti-LGBTQ plus views. Several men have come forward to say they had sexual relationships with or were propositioned by virulently anti-LGBTQ plus minister Jesse Lee Peterson. The allegations have emerged through Church Militant, a far-right Catholic group and website, and a subsequent investigation by the Daily Beast. Two of Peterson's former male associates came out in June with on-the-record interviews saying they engaged in sexual activities with him, while other men say he propositioned them, the Beast reports. These allegations about the pastor, who in public is staunchly heterosexual, have ripped like an earthquake through the manosphere, prompting some of Peterson's allies to abandon him and prompting one manosphere conference to ban him. The manosphere is a hyper-masculine right-wing internet community, the Beast explains, and Peterson is one of its biggest stars. He is known for promoting a vision of gender norms that differ even from that of others on the far right. For instance, he asserts that a woman who reaches orgasm during sex is, quote, becoming a man. He has an online radio show and operates a group called Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny, or BOND, and he is said to live with male members of the group at a residence called the Bond House in Los Angeles. On LGBTQ plus issues, he has said that those who participate in pride parades are, quote, children of Satan, and that, quote, radical homosexuals are evil, the Beast notes. Some of his other anti-LGBTQ plus statements, as compiled by GLAAD, said that Pete Buttigieg, now Secretary of Transportation, flaunts his so-called husband with no shame, kissing him in public, and people applaud like their marriage is real. That Rosie O'Donnell gets, quote, demon instructions from hell. That, quote, lesbians are really violent in their relationships. And that, quote, radical homosexuals have destroyed black families. Patrick Rooney is one of the men who said he had a sexual relationship with Peterson, which he claimed lasted about 10 years. He went into detail in a video interview on the Church Militant site in June, but he told the Beast he doesn't have emails, text messages, or other documentation to back up his allegations. Jesse Lee Peterson is a very smart person. He's a sly person, Rooney told the Beast. He's not going to leave a lot of extraneous evidence out about what he does. I'm going to pause just for a moment. He may be sly in certain ways or realize that he needs to cover things up, but I don't see how anyone can make the claim that Jesse Lee Peterson is a smart person. That's just hilarious, like on its face. Anyhow, continuing. Another man, Samuel Arambula, said in the Church Militant video that he had sexual contact with Peterson, while Robert Santner, the former manager of the Bond House, claimed he witnessed Peterson acting physically affectionate toward men in ways he deemed suspicious, the Beast notes. Peterson has mostly avoided responding to the allegations, the Beast reports, although one caller to his talk show recently asked him about the Church Militant video. He reacted by calling her a wicked woman and hanging up on her. The video has led to protests at Bond headquarters, and one manosphere leader, Anthony Dream Johnson, has said he will bar Peterson from conferences. In a June newsletter, he wrote that Peterson should burn in hell, according to the Beast. Church Militant's founder, Michael Voris, has a history of clashing with other figures on the Christian right, the Beast points out. He once identified as gay, but now condemns homosexuality. In an email to the Beast, a spokesperson for Church Militant said the video was in response to concerns that Peterson would mislead his, quote, large following of young Catholic men. All right. So this article is like 2 years old. So why do I bring it up? Because it's still very relevant. It still engages in like the psychological phenomenon of self-shame and self-hatred that leads people to be like, meow, extremely homophobic when it's just all about their own shame. It's a very, very good example because he is a public figure that you can easily research yourself and see how it manifests. You can watch his interviews and how he talks about radical homosexuality and see I guess the link there and how he is a homosexual man himself, a self-hating homosexual man. And it links with his other views as well. It just seems to be projecting his hatred based on what he feels, based on his own community. He projects it out because he has shame, because he's a member of he's a pastor, or at least used to be. I don't know if he still is, but he has to use mental gymnastics to kind of fit these things or square these things away here. And it's sad. But at the same time, I don't feel bad about using him because any person that vehemently fucking attacks people based on characteristics that are just arbitrary, who cares? It's such a stupid talking point in the first place. Who gives a shit? It's fucking 2024. But even back then, who gives a shit? The only reason why it gets pushed as like a news story that's worthy of attention is because it shows the link between, well, his hypocrisy and the link between extreme homophobia and being homosexual. Case studies have proved this by measuring penile circumference. And I know it sounds funny, but that's actually how they discovered a lot of this, is they would take men that were subjected to images and videos of homosexual acts, and the ones that responded with the most negativity were more likely to actually be sexually attracted based on their penile circumference. It's very simple, and this study has been basically proven over and over again through subsequent studies. So why do I bring this up? Why is it relevant? One, as just a general, broad, sweeping statement that I want it to be crystal clear. And some of it's because of the extent of the homophobia that was shown on the last live stream. And secondly, so I kind of conduct myself as a very LGBTQ plus friendly person, at least in many regards, not in every single regard. But so these extreme homophobic people are attracted to want to debate me on these issues, or they just bring up these things and constantly will say that I'm a gay man, and seriously, you're not going to offend me by claiming that I'm something that I think is nothing. It's not an insult. You're not going to offend me by calling me gay, I promise you. And yeah, so we're going to go into with what we've talked about so far and the link and the obvious link. I want to kind of go into exhibit 1 here. Let me share the screen real quick. All right. This is Ian, a common interlocutor of mine in the comments of my channel and various videos and live streams. He is absolutely obsessed with me. He went on for typing out a fucking novel worth of data or text over the course of several videos over things that no one really gives a shit about. Like, only he is obsessed with this shit. So specifically, even during my live stream, you can go back and look and see like his absolute fucking hyper focus on getting me to take a word per minute test and how I can gauge my typing speed. Now, even at the time, even the people that there were a couple of people that may have been familiar with the whole conversation and where it came about. Even the people that were aware of it were very like, dude, what the fuck? You are insane. You are like fucking crazy about this shit. And even during the live stream, people are like, dude, no one cares. No one wants to watch this shit or see your fucking who cares? And that's a big part of this. Like, I don't want to fucking start this big thing that no one even fucking wants to see. Who gives a shit who fucking types fast? Like, it's irrelevant to everything, which is why I brought up the point in the first place that if you're like pining and fucking pushing your ability to type fast as a skill and how that leads to success and everything, like, it's not really a skill. It's if that's your greatest fucking achievement, and you not only that, like, I don't give a shit about your personal achievements or anything, but it's the fact that you constantly try to attack other people and act as if like they have no like measurable skills in terms of like success in the workforce, which personally I don't even give a shit about, obviously. But it's your hypocrisy here. Like, if you're going to make that case and like the only thing that you constantly use is like your self fucking achievement is that you type quickly, that is extremely fucking sad, using the exact same metrics that you use to attack people. But anyway, that's a complete aside there. That's only just what's relevant lately. What I mainly mean to bring up here is I want you to take a look at this man. This man has repeatedly brought up, especially, he likes to focus on ethnically Jewish homosexual atheists. But even aside from that, he constantly uses homosexuality as like a blanket insult, which who cares? It's not an insult. It's like, if you're gay, you're gay. If you're not, you're not. Who gives a shit? But he hyper focuses on it like it's a got him. Hilariously, I think, and I'm making a case here. I don't know this, but based on what I've seen and based on like observation of his behavior, his sentence structure, and the things that he focuses on, I believe he is a prime candidate for this exact phenomenon. So just go by looking back and looking at his behavior and how he hyper focuses. That alone is pretty good. But I want to go even further. This is one of those right wing type, like, sort of like alpha male type. He has this belief that like I'm like a big man type shit, which is absolutely hilarious. But the only reason I even bring that up is because I want you to take a look at the man. I think based on like you can gauge a lot of things just based on physiognomy. Physiognomy is the art of making psychological assessment based on facial composition, and that can be seen in like the way the eyes, like little wrinkles, freaking, you can tell by creases, and you can tell by the way people form their facial features. You can tell a lot of things. It's not a perfect science, but there's a lot of legitimacy to it if you understand it. Now, all I'm saying, I'm not making a claim of fact or anything because I really don't know and honestly don't care that much. So I only want to point this out because it kind of leads to this hypocrisy. So this man, based on what I'm seeing here, and I'm sure most of you should be able to follow where I'm going here, I believe if I were to look at this man, I've never met him, know nothing about him, absolutely nothing. I would think that there's a much higher than average chance that this guy is homosexual. I'm just being honest. So, what I believe happened, and I can't blame him, I think he saw T-Robs, that is myself, in videos, and that's how he originally got introduced. And he has these extreme right-wing like homosexuals are evil and like unnatural and all that. And I think what happened is he's like, damn, this guy's fucking hot. And I can't blame him. So I think he had sexual attraction toward me, especially in that I have this like homosexual sort of air about me. And I'm very open. I don't give a shit what people think. So I'm just straight up about it. I'm like always talking about butt sex and stuff. It's how I roll. So I think what happened is he grew like a sexual attraction. I mean, maybe he fapped a couple of times. I don't know. But I think what happened is he created this self-loathing afterward because he's like, why do I have this sexual attraction toward a gay man? And I'm not gay. I'm not gay. I'm not gay. Like he's like so hyper like focused on it and like he feels shame because of his feelings. And I would just like to say that Ian, there is absolutely nothing wrong with your feelings. You should embrace them. And as a matter of fact, you can contact me by my screen name here at Gmail. Send me a dick pic, bro, and we'll see where we can go from there. Thank you for your time.